During the show, I talked a lot about facts and figures in relation to energy conservation numbers and the difference between insulation and windows. And I thought you could benefit just from a little bit more insight onto the whole window label thing. So when you're shopping for windows, the window is going to have this label on it. It's a government mandate. Let's take a look at it. Energy Star certification. You see it on appliances. It's a big label like that. Energy Star! Basically, it's the government's attempt to make things simple for you, and in a way it does. Energy Star certification is a certification from the EPA, and it simply means this thing passes certain minimum requirements for being energy efficient. Now, depending on the product, whether it's an appliance or something like a window, those levels change quite a bit, and sometimes they can be misleading. But first of all, every Energy Star rated window is supposed to have a big sticker on it like this, and on that sticker there are 4 numbers: the U factor, the visible transmittance, the air leakage, and the solar heat gain coefficient. Now, what the heck do those things mean? Well, the National Fenestration Rating Council. Fenestration? What? It's an Etruscan word. It means opening. It means window. Who are the Etruscans? These guys. What are they doing? I have no idea. Fenestration. Is it a big thing? Yeah, look, they even have their own magazine. Wow, that's a page turner. Okay, back to the door. The National Fenestration Council. Jeez. The National Openings in Your House Council says that a window is measured by these 4 factors. Number 1, the U factor. And the U factor is a measurement of how much thermal energy, I could spell, is transmitted through the material that the window is made out of. So that number, whatever it is, on this particular window, it's 0.25. 1.00 means complete energy transfer. So if it's 90 degrees outside, it's 90 degrees inside through this material. 0 means no energy transfer. 0.25, that's a really good window actually, a very good window. It means that only 1/4 of the energy on the outside is thermally transferring in through the window material itself. But that's not the only story when it comes to windows. The next thing is visible transmittance. Visible transmittance, or VT, means the amount of light or lumens that's on the outside that's actually making it through the glass, because energy efficient glass has tintings and coatings, and that actually darkens the window some. In this case, on this window, it's 0.54. The scale is the same. 1.00 means 100% transference. 0.0 means that it's a completely blacked out piece of glass. So, with all the coatings on this glass, this particular window lets a little bit more than half of the actual light through the window to the inside. The third number is the solar heat gain coefficient. It simply means the amount of solar heat that's making it through the glass in an infrared form that's causing heat inside the house. Again, the smaller this number, the better. And finally, because a window is a system, it's got sliding parts, it's got channels, it's got cracks, it's got latches, it's got all this stuff going on. It leaks air. So every window leaks air. And so there is an air leakage number. This is measured in cubic inches of air moving through the window. And again, this number, air leakage, on this window is 0.3. That's really good. It's a well-sealed window. Again, the number is smaller, the better. So, the lesson to be learned about this. You can use these tags to compare one brand of window to another. Real performance of the window, not just what the manufacturer says, saying, oh, this is an awesome window, buy our window, it's great, look how expensive it is, it must be better. These numbers are given to you so that you can actually compare window to window to window. What do you need to remember about all these numbers? Lower better. These are all numbers about stuff getting through. So the smaller these numbers are, the better and more energy efficient the window is. Except for this one, the visual light transmission. The bigger that number is, the brighter the window is. Okay, so let's erase all this stuff for a second so I can talk about one more important thing. These labels are for comparing one brand of window to another. But unfortunately, the way windows are sold and they're hyped for their energy efficiency, people get all excited about the Energy Star label and they get all excited about these low numbers and they think, oh my gosh, I'm buying a window that's just going to be the greatest thing in the world and it's going to completely change the way my house feels inside after I've installed thousands of dollars worth of windows. I wish that was the case. There is going to be a difference. And let me be the first person to tell you that if your windows are crappy, if they're sticking, if they're falling apart, if they're ugly, then yeah, you should change them out when you can afford to. And when you do, well, in California now, you have to change them out to at least a dual glaze insulated window that's got really good ratings as far as energy efficiency. But don't be deceived. And here's a little trick. It just so happens that the U factor on a window is the mathematical reciprocal of R value when we talk about insulation. U factor is a measurement of how much energy gets through a piece of material. R value is about how little energy gets through the material. In other words, the resistance value of a piece of insulation. That's why insulation is measured in R value. So, U factor, this little number here, in this case on this window, 0.25, is the mathematical reciprocal of R value. What does that mean? Well, you ask yourself, how many times can you divide 0.25 into 1? What's the answer, kids? The answer is 4. And what does that tell you? It means all this gobbledygook all put together basically means that this Energy Star NFRC approved window has an R value of 4. Now, do you know what else has an R value of 4? This wall from 1958 with absolutely no insulation in it whatsoever. So if you live in an older house and you've been one of those people who says, my house has no exterior insulation in the walls. Well, guess what? Those walls roughly, if they're stucco on the outside, have an R value of 4. So what am I saying? Yes, I'm sorry to break it to you, but this $500 window that you just bought with the Energy Star rating and the NFRC approval, to put in that opening on that wall basically is the equivalent of no insulation in the wall whatsoever. So the point is this: energy efficient windows are pricey and they don't do a whole lot. So, like I was saying in the show, if we're really looking to change the energy envelope of the house, we don't go to windows first. Where do we go? We go up into the attic, where we can very inexpensively, for a DIYer at about 50 cents to 75 cents per square foot, we can add insulation up there all the way up to R30, R38, even R60, and radically change the lid that's transferring heat up and down through the house. That's what's going to save on your energy bills. If you want to change out the windows, great, go for it. Just don't be duped by all the fancy stuff here and think that this price right here is going to be something that you can earn back in a couple of months. Let's think about it. If the average price of a replacement window is $500 and you've got 10 of those windows in your house, then you're going to spend $5,000. Now, a really, really, really good window gets R4 or R5. It may reduce your air conditioning bill by 20% if you're lucky, okay? If you're spending a radical $500 a month on your electrical bill and you reduce that by 20%, am I doing my math right? You save $100 a month. Well, just ask yourself, How long is it going to take to pay for that $5,000 window change out? You're not going to be rolling in the Benjamins later this year just because you change the windows out in your house. However, you will be if you change out the insulation in the attic. And that is the lesson of today's podcast. I hope all of this confusion actually helps explain things a little better than just hearing me talk about it on the radio. Make sure you tune into the show every week at 10. I'll see you next week.